DeFi is disrupting Wall Street. It's disrupting every security tokens. It's disrupting our financial systems. This is here. This is now. This is where innovation is coming from. And there's a lot of venture capitalists, the smartest in the world, Anderson Horowitz. I mean, they're investing like crazy. There's probably about 70, 80 different deals that were invested in. You're looking at NFTs as well. Again, it's not just like stupid art and stuff like that. It's bigger than that. NFTs within the metaverse, just properties being sold, just lots and lots of stuff, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that and numbers and stuff. We'll talk about that another time. But, when I look at Bitcoin, I look at a 3-year time horizon and say, look, 3 years, I think it's going to be a lot higher. I don't know what's going to be next month and next year. I know it's going to be volatile, but that's why if you're going in for the first time, buy a little bit. Okay, do it through a Coinbase, do it through whatever. If you are, if you're into crypto, you can get a lot cheaper in different sites, but that's one of the easiest and the safest when it comes to Coinbase. And buy a little bit, and then, this way it's not keep you up at night. When it comes down, you could buy more and add to your position and hold it because you want to be in this, not just next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, this is here. This is integrated in everything now. It's not going anywhere. There's a lot of shit coins that I think will get killed, but look, what are some of the negatives on this? There's really not any negatives now. It wasn't volatile enough. The people didn't believe in it any, and now they're looking at it, hey, this is a store of value, and a lot of companies are putting it on a balance sheet. But you also have the climate change maniacs, right, who think that, the world's going to end tomorrow. Again, I believe in climate change. We have different opinions on that, Daniel. But for me, I get it, but not to the point where let's not produce any freaking oil or stop producing oil when we don't have an alternative to replace it. Why? And prices are going to go through the roof, and you're going to crush our economy. And what is China doing right after the Olympics? They're going to have, they're building coal plants like crazy to get cheap energy. It's going to make them 10 times stronger. Nobody cares. We have a bunch of kids holding up signs. Now, the electricity use, I wanted to bring up a stat to you, which I think is amazing, which is kind of funny, right? So Bitcoin, right, they're saying the amount of electricity it consumes is killing our environment. We have to change. And even Elon Musk came out and said, okay, that's true until Bitcoin, use less electricity, right? We got all this stuff. So again, the climate change, people went nuts on them. So right now, Bitcoin accounts for 0.5% of the world's electricity.
0.5%?
0.5% of the world's electricity, right? And holy cow, we need to stop it right now. The world's going to end. All the technology companies, how big they are on climate change, the amount of money that they're putting in this, one of the biggest investments, again, right, to check off some boxes. It's not like they care, right? Do you know how much data centers, I'm talking about hyperscale data centers. So these are the largest in the world, right? There's about 200. They're owned by, who do you think? Google, Microsoft, Amazon. Do you know how much electricity these things account for?
Probably more than Bitcoin the way you're setting this up. I like
3% of the world's electricity usage. Now, the best thing, if you don't know what a zettabyte is, look it up, right? Because we're about 40 zettabytes. We're going to go to about 180 zettabytes in 4 years, right? With all the data that's being consumed, all the amount of video, everything's video, right? I mean, people think the cloud is like really the cloud. The cloud's not the cloud. The cloud is servers, right? That are off-site that you're storing all your data information in, right? So this is going to increase by a factor of 3 or 4. Or there's got to be changes in technology, which there will be changes in technology. And if you're a CRA member, you know what technology I'm talking about. But they're going to have to triple to quadruple the size of this to account for all the data storage, all the servers that need to store this. We're going to look at close to 10% of the world's electricity usage. I don't know why nobody brings that up, but you want to talk about Bitcoin, you want to talk about politics. I just think that's an amazing stat because, we have to store more data. We're going to have to store it. Data's going crazy, out of control, TikTok, everything, video now. And what are you going to do? You're going to need more of these hyperscale data centers are going to need to be built. I want to say something really quick because I have something here, which is from, this is from Hyperscale, the website. So I never realized this, but then I'm kind of nervous, start really going crazy with this thing. So when you look at the power consumption, one of the world's largest data centers, Microsoft, 700,000 square feet of data in Chicago, Illinois, has a capacity to consume 200 megawatts of power. To put that in context, that's enough to power 150,000 homes.
150,000 homes.
1,000 homes.
Okay.
Bitcoin. We got to get rid of Bitcoin, though, right away. So, when we look at this, I just think there's tons of opportunities. This is where I think the most innovation is going to come from. But, and there's lots of names. We talk about Silvergate Capital all the time, right?
Hey, real quick, are you taking a shot at their data centers? Because AWS, Amazon Web Services, was reportedly down, causing a lot of havoc across a lot of different websites today. Mm-hmm. Little kick them while they're down, Frank. I like that.
Kick them while they're down, yes. But, listen, if you look at cloud, who are the biggest companies in the world? Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon. I mean, you're looking at Apple and Microsoft now together combined have a $5 trillion market cap. These guys are making a massive fortune. And it's not, you can look at revenue, but it's not revenue. It's the profits because the margins are explosive when it comes to their cloud operations. So they're going to protect this any way they possibly can. And they need to, right? So the more we store on cloud, the more servers that got to be created. But, again, they control the world, these companies. And that's not going away. There's a reason why that was the safe haven when the market came down. Notice Apple, Microsoft hit new highs. Money was flowing into there, or you would have seen an even bigger dip, maybe a 5% pullback in some of these markets with the risks. But it's pretty incredible. But really, really quick, getting back to Bitcoin, because one of the companies we talk about is Silvergate Capital. We recommended this at, I want to say, around $13 a share. It was a cost base a few years ago. This is one that, we saw in our crypto intelligence news that had tremendous upside, and they just did a financing, right, for close to $500 million. And, we saw this stock come down. But again, we recommend this thing at 13. I don't know where it is today, but I know you're a fan of that company as well, Daniel.
Yeah, it's a great story. I came across that, like you said, we came across that a couple years ago, listening to an interview of the CEO. They're a profitable, just an old school bank for the most part, but just had one eye open and was, the leader was always looking for innovation and new things to bring to the bank. They got into crypto. They have this Silvergate Exchange Network, SEN, which basically handles back and forth, allows institutions and different clients to 24/7 fund accounts, transfer money, just that borderless disruptionness of payments. There's no 9 to 5 to where, you have to wait on somebody else. And just to give you an example, I was looking, this is back from July, Frank. So this is the second quarter, and we'll get to the capital raise here. I'm sorry, I'm taking us on a rabbit trail.
That's cool.
But the second quarter, just to give you an idea of the growth, they reported in July, the second quarter revenues, and I know they've reported since, but this one just had a good stat. So their Silvergate Exchange Network handled $240 billion US dollars in transfers for the second quarter during 2021. That's 44% higher than the first quarter, the previous 3 months. Okay. And that was over 968% higher than that quarter a year ago in 2020. Mm-hmm. My point is you went from basically 22 billion to 240 billion in a year, or a little over a year. That is amazing growth. And what does that mean? That doesn't, and you've been on this good, not tangent's not the right word, but, being good vocally about, hey, there's a lot of stuff out there that got rewarded for just growth and now is getting hammered because there's no profits, your Pelotons, things like that. Well, this is a situation where this is the perfect storm because you have a company that's growing like crazy, this exchange network, but they're profitable. Their profits are increasing. And this gives them a lot of optionality to offer different products. But once you get people, just like Facebook, once you get people on your platform, you can figure out how to monetize that over time. Getting them there, you could argue, is the hardest part. So now you got 1 billion some people. This Silvergate Exchange Network is incredible. And it's only going to continue to grow. And even if it stabilizes a little bit, then you can look at monetizing. But that's a great thing. And so the stock was, whatever it was, 12% lower is where they, because you got to incentivize people to come in. So they said, hey, we're going to do an offering. I think it was around 160 in share. They did this at a 145. Yeah. And yesterday, it gained all that back. So it opens at 145, pops right away because people want to get into this name.
And it's even up today too. So you're looking at the stock and pulling up a chart at 170. What I'm going to say at $13 compared to 170, you think you missed it? I think it's a better buy today based on the numbers that you said. But one of the things that I like about this company is when they did this capital raise, and again, they had offered discount because their market cap is about $4.5 billion and they raised close to $500 million. That's a big capital raise for a company, 25% of the market cap. A little bit less than that. So what I like about it is a lot of companies that we see, especially in these markets, especially a company like this that saw its share price go up so much over the past couple of years, what you normally see, Daniel, is on these offerings is you're seeing these, selling shareholders. The shareholders are selling. The shareholders are selling. These guys raise this money, and these guys are not selling. So they're not selling. What are they using the money for? So to further supplement the regulatory capital levels of the company, its wholly owned subsidiary, which is Silvergate Bank, so it's an actual bank, and for other, general corporate purposes, which includes, acquisitions and things like that. But it's for me, when I look at this name, acquisitions and also leverage, right? Leverage is very, very good when you're in the banking industry. to increase their leverage, which they're probably going to offer like yield farming, things like that. But, and clearing services, these guys are like the one-stop pure play in this industry. And there's other names in the area that you mentioned, another one, which you can give. I forgot the name. What was the other one you mentioned when we were talking?
Oh, I don't have it. It's SBNY is the...
Yeah, so another one that got into crypto, but as a pure play crypto company that's going to see tremendous growth at only $4.5 billion valuation. I mean, this company, it based on the fundamentals, is more of a buy now. When we bought it, it was taking a chance, seeing where crypto was going to be over the next 3 years, and this thing took off. But these guys are clearly becoming the biggest player, the best player in the industry, and I like them a lot. I still think it goes higher.